Hello everyone, I have these raised planters that have run absolutely wild over the last few years, and I eat a lot of veg. So now that it is June and our last chance to grow some veg, I think we need to sort them out and start growing our own food. Now, if you've been a fan of the channel, you will recognise this planter that we built for completely free out of pallets and whatever we found in the shed. If you've not checked that video out, make sure you go and do so. But this is going to be joining those raised beds in our ultimate veggie garden. I eat a lot of veg, a hell of a lot, and it seems silly to keep buying stuff. So we're going to grow it. So what is it that we actually need to do with these raised beds to get them ready? Well, these first two are running wild. The very first one is full of wildflowers, which we want to keep. This raised bed is full of strawberry plants, which we also want to keep. And then behind me is a gravel patch full of old tomato plants and completely wild pots that we are going to completely strip back, put our new planter on, and use this space for our spinach and other leafy greens like that. So let's go over exactly what the plan is with each of these beds. So our first two beds here are the wildflowers and the strawberries. What we're going to do is we're going to scrape out and dig out the wildflower plants and repurpose these in different beds around the garden. These always look fantastic when they come into flower, so we want to keep them. As for the strawberries, we're going to do very similar. These keep coming back. They don't stop. So we're going to preserve this soil with these plants and plant it along the edge of the flower bed in the center so that we always have strawberries popping up alongside our other plants in the raised beds. We'll see if they keep coming back. I hope they do, but that is the plan with these two. We're going to strip them back completely, save what is in them, repurpose it somewhere else, and get these fresh and ready for what we're going to grow. As for this wild patch here, what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all of the pots and leave it just as the stone base. We're going to keep the bigger pots but reuse them to grow some smaller plants in front of our big new planter, which is going to go at the back of this plot here. So we're going to have our big pallet planter at the back, three big pots in front with some smaller stuff like maybe coriander, mint, something like that. And then in front of it, we're going to use some of those wildflowers just to extend this wildflower patch I have behind me forward and make it all look very in keeping. So that's the plan. Make sure you stay tuned till the end of the video to find out what it is we're going to be planting in these places, but I think we need to start prepping. I'm going to work from the back, work my way forward, and get all of this cleared. So that is our base cleared now. We've just got a lovely stone base. These oxeye daisies are absolutely everywhere, but that's fine. So I've de-weeded and got the base back down to just gravel, which is good. So now what we need to do is get the new pallet planter up the back. Then we're going to reuse the tall pots from behind us in front of them. And then the rest of this is going to become more wildflowers. So let's get all that moved. Right, so this is sort of how we're going to lay it out. We've got the big pallet planter, which by the way was accidentally exactly the right width. Fantastic. And our three pots in front. So in this one, we've now got to fill it up with as much crap as we can to get it up to the top where we can put some decent soil on the top. So I think what I'm going to do is just empty out all the pots that we're not using into here, weeds and all. Let that decompose into compost with the decent stuff on top where we can manage the weeds. I've got a massive compost heap as well to top it up even further if we need to, and obviously the other two raised beds as well. So that's what we're going to do next, get this filled up, and then we'll start relocating the other two raised beds. So we got way more soil out of those buckets than I thought we would. We've almost pretty much filled that, to be honest. So we'll just put some nice good stuff on top. And this area is pretty much sorted. The last thing obviously to do is redo that gravel with the wildflowers out of here. But first, we're going to tackle the strawberries, get them relocated from there down to along the edge of this bed here. Right, all the strawberries have now moved from there to there. Pretty well intact, to be fair. They're looking solid, so hopefully they'll stay along there nicely. I'll put some nice cinematic on there. This is now ready to have a little bit more compost along the top and get planting. Final thing to do is relocate the wildflowers and hope that this little puppy stops digging up my strawberries. So all three of our beds are now prepped and sorted. The wildflowers from that end would have now been relocated here, and it looks like it's always been there. It looks great. Just need obviously to perk them back up a bit once they've had a few days to settle in. The rest of them, there was a bold patch further up the patch that I've now packed back in, but we've all got all of these beds now ready basically to plant. We just need to top it off with some better compost, which I will do, and then we've got to get down to garden centre and pick up the plants we're going to plant. So my rough plan is over here we're going to have sort of like a salad garden. So we're going to have some spinach, maybe some lettuce, something like that. And then in the pots in front, some rocket, basil. We've actually already got a load of mint growing in the wildflower patch, so we don't need to do that one, but little like herb slash salad garden there. Then in this one, we're going to get the veg, the proper veg that I like to eat. So some courgettes, some beetroots, and some carrots, some good root veg, you know, proper solid veg. And in the very end one, we're going to give sweet corn an attempt, and then either sugar snap peas or bell peppers if they have any starter plants, because it's too late to grow them from seeds now. So we're basically at the mercy of what the garden centre has. But I'm going to get there, pick up all the plants, then we will get them in. So we are back from the garden centre, and they had nothing of use in terms of pre-established plants, which is kind of the route I wanted to go down for some of these for the quicker turnaround. And funnily enough, the only predetermined plants they already had were strawberries, which, you know, literally the least helpful thing ever. But we've got a ton of seeds that most of them are fine to sow in June, and we're just going to give it our best shot. So now we're going to do a full like growth plan of what we've got coming. So let me stick all of these down so I can pick up the ones I need. First things first, the 3 pots at the front are going to be sort of our salady garden. This whole bit here is going to be our salad garden, which will be really nice. So in 2 of the pots, we're going to have some rocket, because my parents love the stuff. They eat it every day. So we're going to get some rocket going. And then in the middle pot, we can get some radishes, because radishes are one of my absolute favorite vegetables. Really refreshing, good, crunchy, nice and easy to grow. So radishes are going in there. Then in this big pot up the back here, we are going to do our leafy greens. So we're going to do half the pot in spinach. I absolutely love spinach. I eat it every day. And then we're going to do the other half of the pot in this mixed lettuce seed. So loads of variety, really good mixture of leaves, should make for an interesting crop. So literally going to split this down the middle, do both. Then in our first big bed, we are going to do our root vegetables. So we're going to do some beetroot, my absolute favorite vegetable of all time. I eat it every single day. Going to get that growing. We're going to get some courgettes going. Courgettes have done really well up in this garden before. No reason why we can't do them again, and I absolutely love them. Then we're going to do some carrots. We've not had the best success with carrots in the past, but I've deliberately bought a good variety that have a good tolerance to carrot fly. So hopefully they're a bit more hardy and can stay really well, you know, avoidant of those flies and stuff. So hopefully they will prosper. And then our final bed is going to be a bit of our experiment bed. So veg that I've not really tried before and veg that I'm not sure will do so well. So first things first, we've got these high yielding dwarf peas. So these have really small plants but massive pods, and it means they don't need to be like held up with, you know, stands or sticks or anything like that. They hold themselves up, so that's fantastic. No more faff with these. These are sowed February to July, so we're well within the sowing period, and I really like peas, so we'll give these a really good go. And then the final one, which we did mention earlier, is sweet corn, and this one's going to be the risk, because this one says sow April to May, but it says you can get the plant in May to June. Now we're leaving it a bit late by sowing it in June, but I'm confident-ish. The weather's been good. It'll just be whether we can get it to mature in time before the cold weather comes at the end of summer. But if we have a year like we did last year where it stayed warm for quite a while, there's no reason why we can't do it. So we're going to risk it for a biscuit, plant these as well, and hopefully have a good garden. So that is our seed plan for these 3 or 4 beds. What we need to do now is we need to top these up with some decent compost from the compost heap, and then top it off with really good quality compost where the seeds are going to live. And once the beds are prepped in that manner, we can get sowing. Right, so we've had to put a pin in that plan for right now, because during that time lapse you saw me run away like a little girl because I put my spade right through a bee/wasp's nest that was in that compost heap, and I'm not sure which one it was. All I know is that I put my spade through, saw lots of little critters start buzzing towards me, and I legged it. So we're going to get a different spade out, let that calm down before we retrieve the wheelbarrow and spade. But we managed to fill our pallet planter up, which is good. These two have a fair bit of soil in already, so hopefully we can just redistribute some soil from elsewhere into both of these to get them to a good level, and we can get on with sowing. But I'm not using our own compost anymore. Right, so against all odds, I've rescued the wheelbarrow and the spade from the bee's nest over there. I'm pretty sure it is bees. Now I've had a bit of a look while rescuing those. So I'm just going to leave them be over there behind the gate at the compost heap, because luckily enough we have a big old mound of soil, old turf, that sort of thing right here that we can use to bolster up those beds. So I'm going to get this loaded and then get it into those beds. Right, we are all composted up, ready to get sowing. So what we're going to do is we're going to start over here, work our way that way, and sow all of the seeds. All right, that is every seed sowed in its rightful place. So now all we've got to do is wait until it grows, give it a bit of a water every day, and make sure they come through nicely. I'm really excited to see how this project progresses. If you are, make sure you subscribe down below to follow this mini series where we built the planter, we've prepped everything, sown everything. Now let's see if we get a reward. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. Plenty more videos on the channel of me walking, making, brewing, growing, all of that fun stuff. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and comment down below what you're growing in your garden this year. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.